Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is my review of South Africa versus Argentina in the Rugby Championship. It was a good game, a lot to talk about, so let's get on with the review. So the game was held in Johannesburg, a great occasion, as it always is in South Africa, and everyone is anticipating the kickoff. And when the game does kick off, we're hit with our first bit of controversy right from the starting kick. So Grant Williams, who's starting at 9 for the first time for the Boks, he gets absolutely clattered by, I think it's the 15 for Argentina, ostensibly trying to charge down his clearance kick. And it goes to the TMO. So straight away we have a bit of drama. I don't want to dwell too much on this. The Argentinian player had great technique. His hip was turned, his knee was up, and his shoulder was turned too. But that's not a great technique for charging down kicks. That's a fantastic technique, and now it's coached when you're taking a high ball from a restart, for example, which I've done many a time. So his technique was perfect, but not for what he was trying to do. And he's obviously miscalculated, and he's injured the player badly. So it's a bit of a head scratcher. You can hear the referee talking that the player was committed, it was unavoidable, and the referee ends up not penalizing the Argentinian player and giving the penalty to Argentina. So it's a bit of a mistake right off the bat, I think, from the referee. It's like, what he's trying to say is that the player couldn't do anything about it, but that's not how the game works now. You have a responsibility for the safety of other players. It's present in all other aspects of the game as far as I can see, and that principle wasn't applied here. So for me, that's a definite red card. Grant Williams looks like he was okay later, so it could have been a lot worse, but we don't want a situation like this to occur again. So let's look at it now, sort it out, definitely before the World Cup. And what's kind of ironic is moments later, Creole is charging down a kick, and he shows the correct body position to adopt for doing it. Both arms up in the air, facing the ball and playing the ball. And he gets a touch, and he almost scoops it up and puts it over for a try. It doesn't quite work out, but it's kind of ironic, really, that moments later you get to see how it should be done. But anyway, these are very early moments in the match, and at this time you don't really know how it's going to go. Yeah, so both sides string a few phases together, kicking for territory, that kind of thing. Argentina have a slight advantage. I think the kick's a little bit smarter, kicking a little bit deeper, and so it's pretty even Steven at this point. Argentina with a slight advantage, I feel. Then the South Africans cough up another penalty within kicking range, and they slot it over Carreras again. Carreras, the fullback. There's two Carreras on the pitch, which I didn't realize for a while. But he slots it over, and it's 6-0 in favor of the Argentinians. So yeah, a nice early lead. South Africa string some good phases together. They show a little bit of variation in the lineup, which maybe is what they need. They can't always rely on the rolling maul, even though it is extremely effective. And they've obviously trying to introduce a few new things into their set piece to switch things up a little bit, and it works quite well in the first half. And eventually it gets to Etzebeth finding himself on the wing, or putting himself on the wing, I should say. Fair play to the guy. And he's been galloping over players all throughout the first half so far. And does the same on the wing, and gets over for a really nice try. I'd love to see second row score. Don't know why that is. But great. So Libbok misses the conversion, and it's 8-6 to South Africa. Argentina now go on the attack and put the South African team under a little bit of pressure. And actually it's a great turnover for Marks to save the day near the South African line. And, he's really showed his value there and what he can do, making a crucial play at a crucial time. So yeah, a good little performance from Marks there. So again, swings and ebbs and flows in the match. South Africa get a little bit of momentum, and Lebok pings a clearance kick, which results in great territory for South Africa. And yeah, they end up getting a attacking line out near the Argentinian line, and they go to the tried and trusted rolling maul, and all of the players are in, all the backs are in, and surprisingly, Deolande gets over for a try. So yeah, I think that's fair considering the run of play, and Lebok kicks it over and it's 15-6. And again, the game swings back into Argentina's favour, and yeah, a lot of handling errors from South Africa, and you know they're not entirely switched on when Willie Leroux drops the ball in midfield. Yeah, because he's usually got golden hands, right? But yeah, South Africa need to kind of clear that up. There's been quite a few unforced handling errors, which is a cardinal sin at the international level. And now it's nearing half-time, and great work from Argentina, to be honest. And you're wondering, can they get a score before half-time, that kind of golden period, which is so crucial in the international rugby? And they do, actually. Carreras gets his third penalty kick, and now that's the score 15-9 in favour of South Africa, and it's pretty close at this point. So on to the second half, and South Africa start really strong, really aggressive, ball carrying. Deolande, I think, is doing well again, and he just looks like a machine, like Robocop in midfield there, and you know what I mean, he's smashing into people, and yeah, I like that. You need a centre like that. So I think he's doing really well in terms of carrying for South Africa. Vermeulen as well is, you know, putting a lot of work in. His work rate was very impressive for a man of his stature and his age, even though he's not that old really, but in rugby terms. So South Africa are attacking well. There are a couple of scrums they do well at, and Argentina is seemingly starting to struggle now. And South Africa are gaining dominance, but these errors, these handling errors and unforced errors are really kind of hindering their progress in the match and trying to build momentum and pressure, which South Africa, you know, putting teams on pressure is their bread and butter. But they're letting themselves down a little bit with these small mistakes. Argentina are absolutely flying into the tackles too, which you know, puts pressure on the South African players, and I love to see that. When Argentinian players are playing like this, it's a joy to see. Absolutely flying in, chop tackles, you know, leg drives, everything. You know, they're putting their all into it, and you know, South Africa are going to be in for a tough old second half. You can see, even at this early point. Argentina put on a very good period of play, really expansive and putting the ball through hands, great support running, great support play, little offloads, and they take the ball basically the length of the pitch and camp on the Argentinian line. And it's just another late save from that man Kitsoff with his second turnover, just to save the day for South Africa. You feel like Argentina, it's just a matter of time before they get over. But the South African players are really, you know, they realise what's on the table here, and they're really trying to put their bodies on the line and stop Argentina scoring. And they just hold out the game. And it's getting to be very similar to the picture that we saw against with New Zealand and Australia. Australia put some great phases of play together, great periods in the match that they had, but they just couldn't capitalise and put those points on the board. And you're thinking at this point, are we going to see the same story here? What I will say is that the South African bench came on and injected a bit of energy, which I think the South African team needed. And from that point, from the substitutions on, particularly the front row boys, they really worked hard to put South Africa kind of back on track. And I think the timing of the substitutions was excellent. Then all of a sudden, I see this big old man mountain Sasquatch guy rumbling forward for the Argentinian pack. And I'm like, where did he come from? And he's absolutely huge, he looked on the TV. And his name is Sclavi. But he looked absolutely massive. And he's playing against the South African. So I haven't researched or Googled him yet to see how big he is. But he looks like an absolute monster. I was like, oh, at least Argentinian team has some firepower on the bench themselves to bring on. So, that was good to see. Yeah, even though South Africa get a few phases together, it's still mostly Argentina at this point. And that man, Lebonini, who I love, he's a bit of a penalty machine in the past, but like he's a great player. And his work rate is phenomenal. I don't know how many carries he had, how many tackles he made, but he's a strong boy, particularly because he goes into contact quite high, and you know what I mean. He takes a lot of strength then not to go backwards, particularly with double hits these days. But Lebonini actually, its work rate is phenomenal, and I just think he's a great player. So he's playing really well too. So as the pressure mounts on the South African team, kind of expectedly, the penalty count starts to swing back in favour of the Argentinians, and South Africa actually get a warning. And particularly in the line-out, they've given away a couple of unnecessary penalties. So they get a yellow card warning. So that's not a good look. When you get on the referee's bad side, usually it doesn't mean good things for you. So unfortunately for Argentina, they get good territory, but the attack kind of now has become a little bit sloppy. The execution, which was pretty good earlier in the game, you can see there's a little bit of tiredness, a little bit of lead in the legs, and these set moves that they're trying to do, all these fancy things in the back line, when they do try, it kind of falls apart and they're left to scramble, and South Africa seize on the opportunity, and Lebok gets over for a breakaway try. And Lebok really hasn't had much to do in the game, but he shows his pace and speed, and goes down the touchline and puts it over. And South Africa could be breathing a sigh of relief there big time, because Argentina, if they'd got that score, anything could have happened. And then there's a yellow card. De Allende, who's I thought played well, he gets yellow carded for a deliberate knock-on. And first of all, I thought 100%, but then you see the replay. I didn't see any other angles, only the one from the back, and it seems like it hit something else. But I will say the way De Allende was held his hands up like this, it wasn't me, made him look so guilty. The guy didn't even go to the TMO. He was just off. So maybe a little bit of inexperience on his part. The reaction sometimes is very important when it comes to convincing the referee of your innocence or guilt, whichever it may be. South Africa down to 14 men now, which kind of gives an impetus to Argentina to attack for that last little 5 to 10 minutes of the game, and they were kind of running out of steam, so that threw the ball back in their court. So it's game on again. A player which I thought had a fantastic game, Carreras, gets his just desserts and gets over for a try in the corner. They're thoroughly well deserved. I thought he was really looking for the ball, really busy, really enthusiastic, and he's a strong character, carrier. And I was pleased to see him get over for a try. So there's 2 scores in it, and Argentina are kind of pushed back by the South Africans, and now it's their turn to break against play, and they have a fantastic opportunity to score down the left side of the pitch, and you just wonder whether they should have put it through hands. They kick and chase, and it goes over. Colby carries it over, and unfortunately picks up a bit of a niggle too. But was that their last opportunity in this match, you feel? South Africa played well with the 14 men, and now do Argentina have anything left? The answer is yes, they do. They attack the resolute South African defence pretty ferociously. But again, it's this idea of throwing the ball around a bit too much. Argentina are great, pick and go. You know what I mean? They're great at the breakdown. Absolutely fantastic. Their body positions are so good. And if they had done that a little bit more, I feel they would have got more reward. And in terms of the South African defence, I thought Steph du Toit, Faf as well, was very good, spoiling things. So those players kind of did their best to hold out the Argentinians. And in the end, they do get over, and by doing what they do best, just going up the middle, up the guts, as we say. And they get a try, but it's too little, too late. And South Africa take it by a point, 22-21. So overall, I would say it felt like a little bit of a lucky escape for the South African team. If the Argentinians had executed and turned the pressure into points more, and you have to, the Carrera, the fullback, you have to mention the fact that he missed, I think, 3 kicks. You know, that could have won them the game. South Africa, though, did positive points. Their defence was pretty good. They held them out a couple of times when you thought they were destined to score. But South Africa won't be happy with that performance, especially at home. The scrum was very good, but the line-out needs a lot of work, and that's something we've noticed, or I've noticed, I should say I've noticed over the last couple of test matches. That hasn't really come right for them, and when you're talking about set pieces, 2 set pieces, it's the scrum and the line-out, so they'll definitely need to improve on that. So yeah, overall, Argentina, again, valiant losers, I would say, and South Africa very happy with that win, but they're going to be looking for big improvements. Argentina, I think, you know, they're going to be a tough side to beat when it comes to World Cup time, particularly considering the side of the draw that they're on. They had a lot of scrum practice. They held that ball in a lot during this game, and that'll serve them well in their side against the main competitors, England, Wales and Australia. So yeah, an enjoyable match though. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed my review. Please leave a comment. It's really interesting to know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. Share, and yeah, like, of course. So I'll see you the next time. Plenty of rugby to be played this summer, so I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are too. All right, bye.